Yep. Now you see, this boxing game ain't easy, bro. This boxing game ain't easy, and sometimes we should be glad that there are fighters who can hopefully get out of there with their health, their strength, and some dough. Now, this guy here, it's not going to mean much to the vast majority. It's not going to mean much, but it does to me because I'm an old school head. The name does mean something to me. His name is Rolando Navarrete. Now, according to the Kicker Daily News, which by what I'm seeing here appears to be a Filipino or Philippines newspaper, former world champion Rolando Navarrete relies on Pacquiao dole-out. This guy used to be the WBC super featherweight champion, and he was a really good fighter. He's now 57 years of age. The former boxer is almost unrecognizable, speaks with a slur that was hard to understand, possibly due to Parkinson's disease. Walks like a perpetually drunk man and wears simple clothes. According to this source here, Navarrete was amongst the people who went to the estate, hoping for a glimpse of their boxing idol to ask for monetary help. That's Manny Pacquiao. Despite the large crowd milling around Pacquiao, he managed to see Navarrete, his former idol, who has now become his fan. Though he did not personally attend to Navarrete, his chief of security handed out a couple of rolled bills to the former champion, who quickly pocketed the cash with a smile. As Pacquiao's black Hummer SUV sped off, Navarrete hailed a passing tricycle for home. Now, the thing they explain is a tricycle. It looks like an actual motorized vehicle, but, you know, there's nothing wrong with that. I don't know what it is, you know. Like this blue sort of motorized. It doesn't look like an actual pedal bike, which I assumed was a tricycle. Maybe it's a free-wheeled motorized vehicle. He did earn some big money. A legendary career in the 80s. You see, it don't mean much to you, but some of us are old school, so it means something to us. Out of 72 fights, he won 74, 31 by KO, you know, 15 losses, 3 draws. His career was good. He had a good career. The fight that put him on the radar for me, and I didn't see it live, but I did see it years later, just a couple of years later, was when he took out Cornelius Bowser Edwards, a Ugandan British-based fighter, managed by Mickey Duff, a really good fighter too. He also lost via TKO to Alexis Arguello, another boxer who's had a very sad ending. Refugio Rojas, he beat him on points, tough contender, you know. He KO'd Bowser Edwards in 5 to win that title there. It was an upset victory. Like I said, it was a bit before I was into boxing, you know, but I did catch a videotape of it a couple of years later. And yeah, he could fight. He defended it once. He lost it to Rafael Limon by TKO. He revenged the Rafael Limon fight later on. No title on the line. And it's just a sad reminder to what happens to boxers, you know? KO'd 8 times, 74 fights. It's a lot of fights. It's a tough career. He was KO'd about 3 times in his last 5 or 6 bouts, you know? And the Parkinson's disease, often when boxers contract that, there's not always conclusive evidence to say that it was boxing related, but boxing doesn't help that condition. Doesn't help it, you know? And that's just me being conservative in saying that. And more than likely, it's the boxing that's brought that condition on, you know? Nobody remembers him. Nobody remembers the Bowser Edwards fight is online. Watch it. It's classic warfare. No one remembers that. Some people say, oh, you don't fight exciting in this. Nobody remembers. Who remembers that? Who knows this guy? Who knows him in the Philippines today? Manny Pacquiao knows him. Because he was Pacquiao's idol growing up in the Philippines. Who knows him? Pacquiao had to roll him out some money. Now you can say, well, Beats, he blew his money, he this, that. You know, yeah, he's got Parkinson's. Well, a lot of these boxers are going through pain. Just physical and mental pain. They're scarred up. He wasn't used to money. A lot of the boxers ain't used to money. They don't get no preparation how to deal with money. I'm not saying pour out a pity party. I'm just pouring out the actual facts of what happens to them. There's no infrastructure in boxing that says, yo, make sure that you're paid the right amount of money. No, there's not. It's a free for all. It's a free for all, and they get buried in the mix. These boxers, they're buried in the mix. There wasn't no Muhammad Ali act when he was fighting. It wasn't there. According to the Ring magazine, Pacquiao often cites the plight of Navarrete as a motivation as how not to conduct his affairs. Pacquiao helps Navarrete out of pity and as gratitude for reminding him how hard he could fall if he lets fame or fortune goes to his head. You know, he got into brawls on the street, I think during while he was boxing and or after. Got slapped with battery and domestic abuse charges from his wife. There's a sexual assault case in there, spending 3 years in prison in Hawaii. Short-tempered guy. And he made good money. He made good money. And you look at some of the pictures of the dude, you know, handsome dude. And now, look at him now. Unrecognizable. It's just, you know, it's like, for me, reading out this story, it's not like I know the guy. But I remember this guy's neck because I grew up in a house where boxing was spoke about 24/7. Amateur boxers who lived in the house where I lived. Wannabe boxers. Boxing was the sport. We watched that fight over and over again. Loads of times. The Boza Edwards fight was watched many, many a time. He fought Frankie Duarte. Duarte, you know, he was a contender from back in the day. He was always an exciting fight. So I wonder what's happened to him, you know. This game ain't easy, man. But that's life, man. That's life. That's life. That's life. He was nicknamed the bad boy from the Dejanagas, if I pronounced that right, or Dadianagas, or Dejanagas. Yeah, that was his nickname. I'm looking at the pictures of him, man, you know. There's something definitely potential brain injury, because his eyes look lopsided and everything, and they didn't used to be like that, you know. Eyes look cross-eyed and... man. I read about him more than I saw him, to be honest. Like, I've read so much about... I've only really seen the Boza Edwards fight. I saw some of the Aguero fight on YouTube. That's all on there. I'm going to try and catch up some of the other fights. Like, the Rafael Bazooka Lemon fight should be good. Bazooka Lemon, always in good fights. Always in good fights back in the day. So I'm going to try and catch up some more of his career. I don't know. I might just do a series of old school fighters who fell on hard times. I might start that, man. I might start that. You know, see what I dig up. I might start that. Peace out.